Continuing with the idea of traveling, I wanted to return to the Psalms. In the book of Psalms, we find people who have been traveling, right? Journeying, trying to figure out where their place is, how their relationship with God matters. Really in a time of turmoil, in a time of darkness. And I love that the psalmist often will use that language of dark and light to help us think through those times in our lives when we face that. The psalm I wanted to share with you today comes from Psalm 16, verses 7 through 8. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
I will bless the Lord who advises me. Even at night I am instructed in the depths of my mind. I always put the Lord in front of me. I will not stumble because he is on my right side.
I find it interesting as we consider the psalm to remember that what is being talked about here is God's continued instruction in our lives. How God continues to speak to us, move within us, send us, call us, even in what the psalmist describes as the night. When we're in the middle of the night, God is still speaking to us. Now, I don't think the psalmist is really talking about nighttime as that midnight to 6 a.m. hour, but rather those times in our lives where we're just struggling. We're facing struggle after struggle, and there doesn't seem to be any real end to it. But then, did you hear what is said later? Later in this passage, it talks about how God is right there by his side. God is right there. We don't need to, just like the psalmist doesn't need to, we don't need to call on God to be with us. God already is with us. As I'm driving right now, it's raining, and it's so fitting that it would be raining on this kind of dreary day in which I'm recording this. Because it reminds me that on those days when the sun isn't shining, when the clouds have at least covered it completely, when the rain's falling and it just feels ick, God is still with us. God has not left us. My prayer does not need to be for God to come and be with me, because God remains present even in the night. God is still speaking. God is still instructing, as the psalmist says. And so may those moments of your life that are dark, that are night, may you discover that even though the clouds may be covering the sun is still shining. God is still with you.